So hello everyone, Om Swastiastu, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, and Salam Harmony. We are from Nita and Ananda. We are here, we'll explain about search algorithm, time complexity analysis of sequential search algorithm on Undiksa Computer Science student data in 2022. So here are the list of the content that we will explain through the presentation. The first one, we have the abstract. Next, we have the introduction, theoretical basis, result and discussion, conclusion, thank you note, and the bibliography of our paper. I will explain about the abstract first. So here the abstracts are of our title. The abstract here is sequential search or sequential search algorithm is a simple search method for searching for elements in an array in order data, known as sequential search algorithm because the algorithm checked each element sequential from the beginning to the end of the data until the data is found or does not exist. The data used in the research is data from computer science students at the Ganesha University of Education. Next. Next, I will explain for the introduction. There's some point of the introduction here that I will explain to you. First, for the background, the time complexity of an algorithm uses the function gn as the upper limit of the numbers of operation in the algorithm where there are n entries. Algorithm complexity is divided into two, namely space complexity is the amount of memory space on the computer that is needed when the algorithm is run, and time complexity is the amount of time needed for the computer to run the algorithm. The next one, we have the formulation of the problem, where the first one is how does the sequential search algorithm works in the data search process for Undiksa computer science student. And then the second one is what is the time complexity produced by the sequential search algorithm in the data search process for Undiksa computer science student. Next, we have the purpose, I could say, or like research purpose. The first one, we have analyzing the performance of the sequential search algorithm in the data search process for Undiksa computer science student. Then the last one, we have analysis the time complexity of the sequential search algorithm. The problem-solving approach are explaining relationship between algorithm execution time and dataset size, which is the number of Undiksa computer science students, using appropriate mathematical theories such as asymptotic analysis. The last one, we have the conduct computational experiment to empirically measure the time complexity of the algorithm. Next step. We have the theoretical basis for our paper here. Next. First, we have the analysis, the theoretical basis of analysis. Analysis can be interpreted as mindset related to systematically testing something to determine parts, relationship between parts, and their relationship as a whole. Analysis is an action taken to determine a solution or pattern of resolution that is appropriate or relate to a problem being researched. And then algorithm. What is algorithm? An algorithm is a series of steps or instruction that is arranged logically and systematically to solve a problem. Important things about algorithm are every step is unambiguous. The input region for the working algorithm must be well defined, can be implemented in various programming languages. There are three parts in algorithm, such as narrative, pseudocode, and flowchart. Next. So here we have the search algorithm. A search algorithm is an algorithm used to search for data by accepting a key argument and using certain steps to search for records with a key. The process of searching for data is called data searching. And then sequential search. Sequential search is a process of calculating Each part of the array, one by one, is sequenced starting from the first element to the last element, until the element you are looking for is found or not in the array. Because sequential search is an algorithm with the order search, the search process can be carried out when the array is arranged or not yet ordered. Next.
Iya Bu, pas rambutnya panjang Bu.
Next, we have data. Data is a collection of information or information about something obtained through observation or search from various specific sources. The data obtained can be in the form of assumptions or fact because it has not been processed further. After processing through research or experimentation, data can become more complex form, such as databases, information, and even solution to certain problems. Next, we have mahasiswa or college student. Etymologically, student comes from the words maha, which means big, and siswa means student. So the college student is a big student. What is meant by big student that they have different behavior and treatment compared to additionary or ordinary student. That most striking difference in the mental attitude as well as the aspect of independence. Next, we have the time complexity of algorithm. Algorithm time complexity is the time required for an algorithm to execute a program. There are two algorithm complexities, namely time complexity and space complexity. Time complexity is symbolized by Tn, and space complexity is symbolized by Sn. Next, we have asymptotic complexity, whereas asymptotic complexity is a notation that describes the complexity of an algorithm based on the amount of data input, not the number of operations that affect the complexity. Asymptotic notation is divided by three types: big O, big omega, and big theta. Next will be explained by my friend to the result and discussion.
Okay, thank you so much for the time, Nanda. Now I would like to tell you about the result and the discussion. Let's talk about the process discussion. So, as we know that sequential search is the process of searching each part of an array one by one in sequence starting for the first element to the last element until the element we are looking for is found or not there. So how the sequential search algorithm works is, sequential search algorithm work like first is input data we are looking for value k, whereas k is the number of the student ID, or we actually call that NIM. The NIM is owned by Unixa computer science student, especially of the student of computer science in 2022. Second is to compare the k value with the first two nth data. If there is data that is the same as the k value, then the data is found. The output is the index of the array that store the value k and the form of the name, ID, and class of the Unixa computer science student being searched for. And last one, if there is no similar data, then the data was not found. Next, we are tell about the testing with mathematical modeling. So if the element being searched is the nth element, then on average, the algorithm must check half of the previous elements. The number of steps required to find the element at position I is n divided by 2. First, the best time occur when the element being searched for is in the first position in the array, so the best time is equal to 1. Second, when the value is n plus 1 divided by 2, which the element is 23, it must plus 1 divided by 2 is equal to 42. This is the time, the time average or the average of these cases. And the last one is the worst time. The worst time is when the element being searched for is in the last position of the element being searched for is not in the array. So the T worst is n, or it is equal to 18.3. Next is testing with computation. Based on the computational calculation carried out, the following table of result is present. We can tell you that there is 5 parameters like index, name, student ID, class, and the time that spent to search that data. We will pin that we want to search data with the student number value is the last is 2215101033. So when the user input that student ID in the algorithm will search the value in the array. So where this is the value of the array that store that value or the student ID, it will show by showing the index that store that value, then which store another value like name, class, and then the most important is the how much time that spent to search that data. So from this data, the author came to the conclusion that the farther away the position of the data you want to search for, the longer it will take for the data search process. The conclusion. So based on the tests carried out, it can be concluded that in the process of searching data for Undixa computer science student in 2022, the sequential search algorithm visits each element one by one in the student list and checked whether the student ID or name value so match the student value for each element. If it match, the algorithm return the index where the element was found and displays data from the student in the form of name, student ID, and class. In the data, if the data is not found, the algorithm will continue to search process for the next element until the element is found or until the last element of that array or that element does not exist. And last one is thank you note. The author would like to thanks to the Mrs. Nilo Devi Sintiari as a lecturer in the algorithm design and analyze course for the knowledge and input that has been provided, so the author can complete this paper smoothly. The author would also like to thanks to his family and CO authors for their collaboration and encouragement. And this is the last is bibliography. Well, that's all for our presentation. We apologize if there are many mistake, and thank you so much for the attention.